Hi, my name is Ms. Buck. I'm the Title I teacher at Mark Twain Elementary. This is a quick video about ideas you can do from home for a word study with your family. You can use this for high frequency words, sight words, phrase words, basically any word study that you're hoping to encourage your child to learn a word by sight and quickly. Not that they need to sound it out or that they need to take time to study it. These are strategies to try to get your child used to words so that they can know them immediately, read them quickly. The term high frequency word, that just means that that word in particular is used frequently in our English language. Words like the, was, is, a, things like that come up all the time. So knowing them is incredibly useful. Sight words are words that we want children to know by sight, just quickly, no sounding out. Another thing about sight words that makes them difficult is a lot of them do not follow the normal rules of phonics or the English language, and so a child cannot sound them out. Words like was. Was sounds like it would be spelled W-U-Z. However, that it's spelled W-A-S just causes one more layer of confusion. So encouraging your child to know that that's the word was, even though it's spelled incorrectly, is studying a sight word. Your teacher may have all kinds of different word lists for your child to be working on, and these strategies apply to any list. I will have I will have a link to some phrase lists of words. There's 100 words per list. It's kind of like the first list is for first grade, second list for second grade. I'll have that link in the description below to go to the district website and find those lists. You can print those out or copy them onto flashcards, whatever works for your family. I hope you enjoy the time with your family. Thank you.
First thing is we need to figure out what your child already knows. I give them a list of words and I have a matching list of words. I don't show them which words I'm highlighting as they get them right because I don't want them to worry about that. I just want them to show me what they know. If they get it right, I highlight it. If they get it wrong, I leave it blank and we move on. No need to give them any kind of reaction at this point as you're just trying to gauge what they do and don't know. You can go over these later, the ones that you left blank. Once you've determined which of these words your child needs to work on, you can go ahead and make those into flashcards. Any of the highlighted words you can disregard for the time as they already know them and you don't need to drill those into them anymore. When you have your words that they need help on flashcards, there's lots of things that we can do to make it kind of fun to work on them. One thing I like to do is I like to place them around the house. There are all kinds of places that your child frequently visits that you can stick words for them to work on. For example, the refrigerator. You could just put a couple words there. Or you could stick them on the microwave, the faucet, or they can go find them around the house, like at the front door. You can make it a game where the younger children can maybe go pick out words for the older children to read. It can become like a scavenger hunt. Good try, Bella.
So now let's say your list has been completed of which words your child does know and which words they need a little bit of help on. All the ones that are left blank. So let's pretend that you've made your words that match what they need to work on. We had the example of placing them around the house. You can also just make them into flashcards to go over with them whenever you have a free moment in the car or while they're waiting for dinner or when they wake up in the morning. Quick little things like that can go a long way. Another fun thing for them to do to make them more personalized for them is you can encourage them to write stories or sentences and asking them to use one of their words. So let's pretend they chose it. So we could say, if we're like in kindergarten, we can make it really simple. It is sunny, things like that. And you could help them write a word and it has to use it. Now, when they are working on doing sentences and you want them to work on their sight words in the sentence, the only word I want you to work on them spelling correctly at first is just their sight word. They can worry about spelling the other words correctly later with your help. So let's pretend that we were going to say, it is sunny. Now, depending upon the age of your child, you don't need to make this a very intense sentence writing exercise. You can just make it them using these sight words in real world situations. Like, it is sunny. It is my favorite day. Little examples like that. When your children get to be a little bit older and you may be working on more complicated words, like in a different word list, for example, like together or important. Those are going to be much more complicated ideas and complicated sentences. And so if your child is at a very basic level, keep these sentences and ideas very basic. If your child is at a more advanced level on a different list, you can make them much more complicated and encourage them to get creative. They can even draw pictures to go along with these. Now let's say you had a younger child in the home and maybe they got to pick out the words for their older sibling to write a silly story. That can kind of keep the whole family involved. And even if the little children don't know all of these words, it can still be kind of fun for them to be interacting with their big brothers and sisters. Another fun game that I like to have second graders and above work on is what I call silly stories. So what I do is I give them a certain amount of sight words that they're working on that they get to work with. And the more people that you have in this game, either children or adults, the sillier it can get, which is kind of fun. So I would start off by, I would choose one of these words and I would write a sentence and I would need to use one of them. The object is to continue the story until it just gets absolutely ridiculous. But they have to at least use one of their sight words for each sentence, and they have to follow someone else's lead. That is a really complicated concept, and so that's why I leave this for second grade and above, because younger than that, kids have a hard time following other people's stories. So I might start off, I might use the word most. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm going to be starting. I had the most fun today. So now whoever is next, either a child or an adult, they have to use a different word and it has to go off of this idea. So we're having fun and it's today. All right, so maybe they would look through here, either a child or an adult. Maybe they're going to use asked. So I would pass the board and the pen to somebody else and say, all right, it's their turn. They get to decide. Maybe the next adult says, I asked Sally if she wanted to play. All right, now it's getting more complicated. We're talking about having fun today, and now this person, Sally, is involved. So your child would need to look through here. All right, what could they say next? The hard part is to continue an idea, and using these sight words in such an in-depth way really helps your child own the meaning to them, and also works on writing them and having them in a real-world application, not just on flashcards. All right, so to reiterate, make flashcards and focus only on the words that your child needs help on. not all of them. You can place them around the house on places that your child frequents often. Make sure you're going over them and reminding them what the words are. Ask them questions, interact with them. You can make it a game and have your child find certain words for you, or little children and big children find them for different age groups. You can have them put into sentences. You can have pictures drawn with those words. You can have them, or the whole family, interact to make a whole silly story using many of those words in many sentences. Keep them in your purse, put them in the car. You can have these flashcards all over the house. I know one friend, and this might be TMI, but she kept them in the bathroom, and while she was potty training her daughter, they would go over letters and sight words and things like that. So that's obviously for much younger children. And they can also turn it around and they can be teaching you these words, and you can pretend to get them wrong and see how they react, see if they really can correct you, things like that. Let them be the teacher, or let them teach their younger or older siblings as well. So I hope that this was helpful. Basically, as much interaction that you can have with these either fry words, sight words, high frequency words, any kind of word study, the more you can interact with them, the better. Thanks so much, and enjoy the time with your family.